Hey plant lovers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into rosemary, and specifically into the handful of realizations that completely changed how mine grows. Rosemary has a reputation as an easy, forgiving herb, and in the right climate that reputation is earned. But indoors and in containers, rosemary is one of the most commonly killed herbs in American homes. And the cause isn't neglect, it's usually the opposite. Most people kill their rosemary by caring for it exactly the way their instincts tell them to. If you've brought a rosemary plant inside for winter and watched it slowly brown and collapse despite your best efforts, or bought one from the grocery store that looked gorgeous for 2 weeks before falling apart, or watched your own struggle while a neighbor's thrives outdoors, today changes that. Once you understand what rosemary actually wants, which is nothing like what a typical houseplant wants, keeping it alive and thriving becomes simple. Before we get into it, hit subscribe if you want plant advice that's actually practical. This channel is for people who want results, not just tips. The first realization, and the one that reframes everything else, is that rosemary isn't a houseplant. It's a Mediterranean shrub we've been asking to behave like one. On rocky hillsides in southern France, Spain, Italy, Greece, and Turkey, it grows in full sun, constant breeze, fast-draining rocky soil, and long dry stretches between rains, becoming a woody shrub 4 to 6 feet tall that lives for decades and shrugs off drought and poor soil. Move that same plant to a kitchen counter with dim light, still air, and rich, regularly watered soil, and you've dropped a coastal shrub into conditions it was never built for. It declines slowly, so slowly most people don't notice until it's too far gone. The goal isn't to care for rosemary in the usual sense, it's to recreate a Mediterranean hillside indoors. The second realization was about light, and this is the #1 killer of indoor rosemary. It needs 6 to 8 hours of direct sun daily. Not a bright room, but sunlight actually striking the leaves. People overestimate how much light a bright spot gets. What feels sunny might only deliver 2 or 3 hours, and for rosemary, that's starvation. Without enough light, it can't fuel all its needles, so it sheds them from the inside out. The interior goes bare while the outer tips still look fine, and by the time those tips brown, it's often already critical. Indoors, give it your brightest south-facing window. If you don't have one, a grow light isn't a luxury, it's essential. Keep it a few inches from the foliage and run it 10 to 12 hours a day. Outdoors, give it the sunniest spot on your property, ideally against a south-facing wall that reflects extra light and holds warmth overnight. If a spot isn't sunny enough for a tomato, it isn't sunny enough for rosemary. The third realization was about watering, and it's where rosemary trips people up most. The common advice, it's drought-tolerant so water less, is only half true. Soggy roots do cause rapid rot, but indoor rosemary in winter can just as easily die from being too dry. Heated indoor air often sits at 20 to 30% humidity, drier than a desert, and rosemary's needles lose moisture fast in that air, so the plant can desiccate even while its owner thinks they're doing everything right by holding off on water. The fix is a balance. Water once the top inch of soil dries, but before the whole root ball dries out. That might mean every 4 to 5 days outdoors in summer and every 7 to 10 days indoors in winter. Check the soil rather than trusting a calendar, since too many variables affect drying time. Here's a trick that solves the humidity problem. Fill a saucer with pebbles and a little water, then set the pot on top so its base sits above the waterline, not in it. As the water evaporates, it humidifies the air around the foliage while keeping the roots dry. It's the single best trick for indoor rosemary in winter. The fourth realization was about soil, which ties directly into watering. Rosemary wants fast-draining, lean soil, the opposite of standard potting mix, which is built for moisture-loving tropical plants. Blend in 30 to 50% perlite, coarse sand, or gravel until the mix feels almost too well-drained. Water should run through the pot in seconds, not soak in slowly. A straight cactus and succulent mix works well too. The fifth realization was about airflow, a quiet killer nobody talks about. On windswept coastal slopes, air moves constantly through rosemary's foliage, keeping humidity low and drying dew or rain quickly, which prevents fungal problems. Indoors, the air is often dead still and humid, ideal for powdery mildew, a grayish coating that weakens the plant fast once established. The fix is simple. A small fan running on low nearby keeps enough air moving to prevent it. The sixth realization was about pruning, echoing lavender with one difference. Rosemary grows a woody base with soft new growth at the tips. Ignore it long enough and it turns leggy and bare underneath. Unlike lavender, it can sometimes regenerate from old wood, depending on variety and health. Not guaranteed, but more forgiving. Every harvest is effectively a light prune. Cut 3 to 4 inch sprigs just above a leaf node, and that node sends out 2 new branches, thickening the plant over time. Once a year, in early spring, do a heavier shaping cut. Remove about 1/3 of the previous year's growth. The rosemary-specific twist? The more you actually harvest and use it, the bushier and more productive it becomes. The seventh realization was about the indoor-outdoor transition, where most winter kill happens. In zones 7 to 10, rosemary can live outside year-round, tolerating temperatures down to roughly 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on variety. Arp and Madeline Hill are especially cold-hardy. In zone 6 or colder, it needs to come inside, and the move itself is the danger point. Yanking a sun-loving plant straight to a dim counter causes shock. Instead, transition gradually. Shadier outdoor spots over about 2 weeks before bringing it in, then your brightest window. Expect some leaf drop as it adjusts. If stems are still green and flexible under a scratch test, it's alive. In spring, reverse the process slowly over 2 to 3 weeks so the leaves don't scorch. The eighth realization was about propagation, which pays for itself many times over. Rosemary roots easily from stem cuttings, so one healthy plant can generate as many new ones as you want. Take 4-inch tip cuttings, strip the lower 2 inches of needles, and root them in water. Roots appear in 3 to 4 weeks, or in moist, gritty soil, which takes longer but produces sturdier roots. Take cuttings in spring or early summer from semi-hardwood stems for the best success rate. A quick word on varieties. Tuscan Blue is the culinary favorite, with high oil content and an intense pine-like flavor chefs love. Arp is the standout for cold tolerance, surviving Zone 6 winters and even sheltered Zone 5 spots with mulch. Prostratus is a trailing type for hanging baskets, though less cold-hardy. And Salem handles short winter days better than most cultivars, a smart pick if indoor decline has been your recurring problem. Now, something most people don't know about rosemary's fragrance. The scent comes from volatile oils, mainly 1.8 cineol, alpha-pinene, and camphor, stored in tiny glands on the needles that rupture when brushed or crushed. Research on commercial rosemary oil production shows plants grown in lean soil, full sun, and under mild drought stress produce noticeably more of these oils than pampered plants in rich, moist conditions. That stress response is thought to help the plant guard against UV damage, pests, and water loss, which means the exact practices that keep rosemary alive also make it more flavorful. Comfort produces bland rosemary. A little hardship produces the piney, resinous flavor cooks prize. A few kitchen notes to close out. Fresh rosemary beats dried by a wide margin, and it's most potent if harvested mid-morning, after dew dries but before the day heats up. For long-cooked dishes like roasts and stews, add whole sprigs early so the woody stems hold together and the oils infuse slowly. Pull them before serving. For quick dishes or garnishing, chop fresh needles and add them at the end, since prolonged heat drives off the volatile top notes. And don't overlook the flowers, small, blue, or purple, edible, with a milder version of the leaf's flavor, and a lovely garnish most people never see because their plants rarely get healthy enough to bloom. Since learning these 8 things, my rosemary hasn't just survived, it thrives, indoors through winter and outdoors through summer, producing fragrant needles year-round and blooming with those little blue flowers most houseplant owners never witness. Rosemary isn't difficult, it's just different. Once you stop treating it like a tropical houseplant and start treating it like the Mediterranean shrub it actually is, everything falls into place. If this changed how you think about rosemary, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments, What's been your biggest rosemary struggle? Indoors, outdoors, or the transition between the two? Take care of your plants.